everybody. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to SoulPet. This is the channel dedicated to helping all of those who may be healing after the loss of an animal companion. So welcome if you're new to the live stream. If you are watching this on the replay, I'm going to say the YouTuber things before I forget. Don't forget that if this video resonates with you, please share it out to anybody who would benefit from a message of healing and hope for after their animal companion has crossed to the other side, that may be despairing, that may be stuck in grief. We're going to talk about being stuck tonight, and why we get stuck in that feeling of grief. And also because we have a great community here. Check out the comments. Look at all the people that have joined this community and are supporting each other, and who welcome with open arms other folks who have lost their animal companion and are looking for a community that has experienced and can empathize and sympathize with what they're going through and support them. But yes, so my name's Elaine, the Animal Reiki Lady. It's good to see you guys here. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Just give me a sec. So for those of you who are not, that fond of the whole live stream intro thing, you can always scroll ahead about 5 minutes if you're watching this on the replay, because we like to give a couple minutes for everybody to jump on and for me to say hello. So who do we have here tonight? And then there was me, and then there was me. That is Kali. One of these days, I will have all of the names remembered and memorized, all of my channel members. I would love to. I will get there. I promise I will get there. Even as the channel grows, there are those of you who've been with me from the very beginning. So we are in episode 37, and yeah, exciting stuff to be doing this each and every Monday. Okay, so Kali, good to see you, and Cheryl, good to see you, and Carol, and Sharon, and let's see, who else do I have? Sherry, awesome, Donna, Jody. I think that's everybody so far. Let's see what kind of comments we've already got. So hello to everybody. Yep, had a great weekend. It's been a week and a weekend, but that's okay. I go through all of the same life things that everybody else does. There isn't anything different about my life, except that I now respond in a little bit different way to some of the things that happen in my life. So I am telling myself always that there is always a beautiful outcome to everything that happens. And so that's where I'm going with that. Had a great week, had a great weekend. Okay, let's see what else we got. I got a lot of hellos there. Got a full Gary nudge this week. You felt his nose on your back while you were in the garden. That's a wonderful feeling, and what a beautiful way to get a sign like that. If you happen to be in the garden and you were gardening, so whether you were just enjoying being in the presence of nature in a garden, or if you were out actually gardening, it's a form of meditation. I talk about meditation pretty frequently. And when I talk about meditation, the M word, some people roll their eyes. Other people say, oh, I can't meditate. Other people think of a guru levitating above a rock in a cave somewhere. It's not. Meditation can take so many different forms. I know that there's one or two meditation teachers out there who say it's called meditation for a reason. You must meditate. It is anything that gets your mind to quiet, anything that turns off all that chatter. And we're going to talk about this tonight. Anything that turns off all the things that keep our mind racing, anything that helps you get into the zone is considered meditation. It could be jogging. It could be doing the dishes. It can be vacuuming. It can be coloring, listening to music, singing, walking in nature. There are so many ways. Each of us has our own unique way of calming our mind and calming ourselves. So that's awesome about being in the garden. I love being outdoors. For me, it is one of the most not only calming things, it is one of the easiest ways for me to connect with my animals on the other side. Okay, let's see. Kim, nice to see you here. There's been a couple. So I see Sharon commenting also. There's been a couple. Carol, I know that you also have had a visitation, that's what you want to call it, from your animal companion, and just feeling that breath on the back, well, for you, it was a cold nose. Whether it's a cold nose, feeling their breath, hearing their toenails click across the floor, feeling the cat jump onto your chest. I've had that feeling, and I don't have a cat, Scout. Feeling that cat jump onto your chest. feeling the dog jump onto the bed, or you know that I've heard Jack licking out of the toilet bowl. Those are all wonderful ways for our animal companions to get through to us. But signs are a whole different episode. I will always do more episodes on signs because they're coming more and more frequently to more and more people, and I love to share that stuff. All right, let's see if I have anything else. Had a remote control rat that was sitting in the same spot for the last 2 days move on its own. All right. We were also talking about with another person I was doing a little private reading for, flickering lights. Those are one of the ways that our animal companions get through to us. It's part of if we consider that everything is energy and we are in this denser 3D energy, and when they have left their physical bodies, they don't disappear. They don't actually go to a place called the Rainbow Bridge. That's a place of comfort that we create in our human minds to help us manage through some of the grief, but they don't leave us. Their soul, their energy, everything is right here. It has simply shifted. It's shifted forms. So it's just in a little bit different form. And for them to get through to us, it's sometimes more challenging. We're used to physical things. We have physical things. We've got pens, we've got paper, we've got desk, we've got glass on chair in our physical bodies. The subtler energies like flickering lights from electric, something like a toy turning on. Those are the kinds of things I was trying to think of another example of something that's like electric. Oh, like static, or something that comes through on your television. The internet goes wonky. Those are the kinds of ways they're also signs from our animal companions, and not just from animal companions. Any soul that crosses to the other side, we have the ability to connect and communicate with. Okay, let's see what else I got. And it's all caught on your indoor pet cam. I love that. I love it because it will be a constant reminder. I tell my students, journal about it. And we're going to talk about the journaling because I mentioned that last week. Just write it down. You don't have to sit down and extensively analyze what it was that you witnessed. And what I would write the date, what I saw, and like, hooray, hooray, I got a sign. And this was the day. I saw my angel number. I found a feather, whatever it is. The remote control turned on. Anything like that. I would log it, and maybe make a little memory book. Make a new memory book for your animal companion. Not the memories of, and definitely not the memories of their last day, the memories of their last moments, but make it the memories that you are still creating together. The memories that are going to continue, that are going to go far beyond the memories that you've already had. Okay, we are going to dive right in. I want to start talking about, and as always, you guys, I will try to catch questions. I see the comments scrolling by. A lot of it is, I know, support, that you guys are supporting each other. And you guys can see and hear me okay, right? You would tell me if you couldn't, because I know that I've got some new equipment like I did last week and still getting used to how it all works. But I think it looks like everything is still working. I'm just getting only one little dot on my microphone, though. The Magical Memory Book. There you go, Jody. Yep, the Magical Memory Book. Excuse me. Creating a whole new book of memories for you and your animal companion. It's one of the things that's going to be in I have like 6 steps, a 6-step process tonight to rewiring your brain. Here's what we're going to talk about. But first, let me talk about the journaling. Last week, what I suggested was that suggested, encouraged that you start a daily habit of sitting down and just journaling to help manage the grief and to help manage the guilt, to help get through the remorse, the regrets. And that journal was to sit down every single day, if you could, possibly early in the morning, before all the daily energy takes over your conscious mind. And there was some steps to it. Well, I will tell you that I said I was going to do it along with you. I got 4 days. So of the 7 days, only 4 of them did I find the time to sit down and journal. That I didn't feel pressured in the morning to go do something else. I share that with you just because I understand I know what it is to live a human existence, to set our alarm clocks in the morning, to get up and have to feed the kids or feed the dog or take the dog outside for a walk or change the kitty litter or take a work call or check your email, whatever it is. And then the next thing you know, your day has gotten into full gear and you haven't done your journaling. So I'm just still going to continue this, you guys. I did 4 days and I am committed to making this a regular practice because I think it's going to make a difference. The mornings that I did it, I felt so good afterward and I received insight. I received insight about something I was supposed to do, say, share. I love to journal to receive inspiration, inspired action. So, I mentioned that if you guys have heard of it, and many of you have, and I know that a couple of you commented privately afterwards about the book, The Secret, and how it could be life-changing. But one of the things that I think that the book, The Secret, missed was taking inspired action. So not just sitting on your couch and waiting for the $1 million to magically appear in a bucket or a bag, just, woohoo, there, the leprechaun just delivered. But to find the way to understand the actions that I should take that will help build the channel, which, by the way, you guys, I'm just so, I couldn't be more grateful that we're close to 6,000 viewers now. And I know in comparison to some other channels, my little 6,000, but I started at 0 and it feels really good to be close to that number. And I can't wait to go even further. And I can't wait to add another 0 there. Okay, so where was I going with that? With The Secret. Oh, that what I journal about is taking inspired action, that I like to receive insight as to what would be, who needs to hear what today and how can I say it? And please give me the voice to share the things that need to be shared. So it can be anything, whenever you want your journaling practice to be. But I'm thinking that doing this every single morning is going to make a difference. And I would love to see, I'm going to check the comments right now to see if anybody else joined me in that practice. The store was closed for years, and there was a sign that said everything will be okay. Okay, I'm not. Oh, so I think that you're telling a little story about after your animal companion crossed and walking past a pet store. Okay. So I was standing by my horse's old fence, feeling sad, and I felt this intense sensation, like they were there with you, but not sure if it was just a wave of grief. Those are the sensations I want you to begin to trust. When we talk about signs, so those of you who are in the psychic development class, we talk about what it feels like to trust your intuition and to receive information from the other side of life. And I do teach I teach some spirituality stuff, and there's definitely some woo-woo stuff, but like tonight, I am going to explain the science behind it. I want you to understand that this is real. And when we can begin to recognize the subtle signs, which often come through as feelings. They come through as intense feelings. That's another one I would write down. Like I was standing at the fence today, Tuesday, September 23rd. I don't know if that was a Tuesday or not. Tuesday, September 23rd. I was standing in the pasture by their favorite fence, and I felt this deep sensation of love. And yes, feeling is one of the biggest signs that we're ever going to get. No way, it's not a sign. Oh yeah, you're right. AM, I'm sorry that I don't know your name, but all of those things are signs. Wait till you see tonight. Tonight when I'm going to do the little reading, the little mini reading for Kitty Boy. I wish that I had my cell phone with me to take a picture of what I saw today, but I know that it was a message from this kitty cat, Kitty Boy, that there's no mistaking it. No mistaking it. And I'm jumping ahead. Okay, so enough about the journaling. Let's talk about what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about that prolonged grief and why some of you say it in the comments. Some of you reach out to me privately to explain that it's the depth of grief that doesn't ever go away. And there are good days and there are bad days, but for those who are still stuck, trapped in the bad days more than the good days, and you just wish it would end. That's a comment that I get to. I just wish that this would end. I can't feel sad like this anymore. Why do I continue to feel so sad that I can't even function? I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to continue. This is the density of grief that we're feeling. And I want to explain to you how this works. And I should have called this video, Teach an Old Dog New Tricks, because that's what it's all about. I have shared with you before, and I'm going to give you these 3 names so that you can research it a little further. But I've talked before that it's all about our balance within our systems. So we have our head, where our brain is. I feel like there's a lag in the video, but that's just me looking at myself now. Our head, our heart, and our core. And aligning and balancing those 3 things helps us to make connection with our animals on the other side of life. And when we are in balance, when our energy centers are balanced. And I know that when you say the words energy centers, that also gets an eye roll or two from folks. Energy centers, what do you mean by energy centers? What I mean is that we have a physical brain and a physical heart and a physical core, our gut. They're all connected within our physiology. And when one of them is out of sync, then everything is out of sync. And our you know what it feels like to walk into a room and you can sense right away if people have been arguing or if there's something going on, or you're like, oh, okay, this doesn't feel right. You know what that feeling is. That's an energetic connection. So I'm not talking about some spiritual woo-woo where you have to sit down and wait for. I'm talking about what you already know in your core, that you have instincts, you have intuition, you felt it, you know what it feels like. You know what it feels like to be walking down a dark street and have all the hairs raised on the back of your neck and know that you shouldn't go down that alley. Or if you ever watch any of the slasher movies, you're like, girl, don't go down those steps. You can tell that you're not supposed to go down the dark steps. That type of intuition is kind of what I'm talking about. But it gets out of alignment. And when we are grieving or holding ourselves guilty, holding ourselves responsible for something, guilt is a big one. Tonight, we're going to talk mostly about grief, but the process I'm going to explain can be used for anything. Anything. It can be used for grief. It can be used for guilt. It can be used for weight loss. It can be used for smoking. It can be for anything that you can think of that might be a habit. You'll be able to use this process for. And I'm going to explain to you the steps as I understand them, but also encourage you, if you want to go a little bit further with this, that you can. Now, I've been studying different spiritual teachers for a long time, not just spiritual teachers, but coming from corporate, being a corporate dropout, I personally just like to know the reason behind something. I'm very trusting and I can accept someone's word for it. And if something resonates with me, I will go, okay, that really makes sense to me. But then I'll do a little bit more homework on it. And that's where I have learned to really explore some of this heart-brain coherence thing. So we've already talked about the heart. I talk about it all the time, that our heart is a true, not just an energy center. It has been shown to have its own, and I'm not a physiologist, so I don't know all the words, but it has its own neurology. So it has neurons. It does more than just pump blood through our body. It is directly connected through a system of neurons to our brain. And our brain, of course, is all neurons. And it is that connection is what helps us to rebalance again or be out of balance. So if we're grieving and our heart hurts really bad, it is sending signals directly to our brain, which keep us stuck in a place of guilt and grief and the denser emotions. And I'm not going to go too much further into that, but things get all out of alignment. Stress being the number one thing. Stress causes our gut to be out of alignment, causes our heart and our brain. I imagine it as everything being spiky. When we are stressed out, I can feel and visualize just the spikiness. And what we want to do is just get everything back into alignment again. So I've explained many times before, and I will always continue to talk about it, that our heart center is so critical. And I've taught how if you would just take your fingertips and place them on your heart, where you think your heart is. If you can feel your heart beating, that would be awesome, because then you have a pretty good idea of where your heart space is. But what I encourage you to do when you do that is not just necessarily feel the heart space with your fingertips and feel your heart space, but go inside and use your heart to feel your fingertips. So instead of your fingertips feeling your heart, let your heart feel your fingertips. And I invite you to really focus on the heart as a way of making a connection with your animal companions. So that's one part. Then the other part is the brain. And tonight I want to talk about the brain. I want to talk about how we can use our brain to help us hardwire healing. There is a way that we can strategically, purposely, consciously, fully aware, retrain our brain so that we're not stuck in a pattern of grief. Because what if grief is just a really, oh, I don't want to use the word bad because that's very judgmental. What if grief is just a habit? It's become a habit of feeling. You know, I did this little video and I'm going to have to repost it again because it really resonates still with me that when we allow ourselves to dwell in grief, it is like wrapping ourselves in a wonderful warm blanket of dog crap or cat crap, whatever it is. It's like wrapping yourself in a blanket of crap. And it's time to shed that blanket and allow a blanket of love to take over for you. So, what if this grief is something that is a habit that can be changed? I'm going to teach you how you can change a habit. And I take this directly from the folks, the teachers that I've studied with. And I'm going to say their names so that you can also do this work. There's so many videos from all three of these gentlemen and there's been many more, but these are three gentlemen where I've learned the whole heart, brain, gut thing. The first is Greg Braden. Greg, Gregg. Greg Braden. He is the one who speaks most prominently about the heart-brain coherence and teaches ways that we can get our heart and our brain into alignment, which then allows everything to settle. The stress starts to drop away and we can begin to settle, and it shifts everything in our life. I teach that it will help us make connections with our animal companions on the other side who want nothing to do with stressed out humans, but he teaches it for everything. It can impact every area of your life. So Greg Braden is the one who talks most prominently about the heart-brain coherence. Then there's Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza is the one, I think his You Are the Placebo, Getting Supernatural. I can't think of what he has. A couple very popular books. It's also about the same thing. He teaches it from a little bit different perspective, but he teaches also how we can awaken our brain and how we can take physical action with specific exercises and meditation that will wake up parts of our brain that haven't been awake before. And then the process that I'm going to explain tonight is one that is most prominently talked about by Bruce Lipton. I believe he's Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Bruce Lipton, who, interestingly, because I've spent quite a big part of my life in Wisconsin, he was a professor at the University of Wisconsin. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if anybody does the research, I believe that he gave up his tenure at the university in order to go forward talking about what I'm going to talk about tonight, because it wasn't commonly accepted at the time. Now it's becoming more and more accepted, and more people are beginning to talk about this and teach it for everything, for all kinds of things, for whatever you may need in your life. There's a way that you can take action to make these changes happen. Okay, I'm going to take a look at comments real quick, and then I'm going to go back. I don't want to forget to use the word neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the old dog, new tricks. We have been taught throughout our whole life that an old dog can't learn new tricks. We've been taught that the older we get, the slower our brain gets, that we can't learn something new, that we become fixed in our ways and stubborn and whatever else. What's another thing? Fixed in your grandmother's set in her ways. I guess that's what I was always told. Oh, but your grandmother is set in her ways, which is possible, but only out of habit, only out of habit. We now know that the brain can be changed. All of the neurons in your brain, and I don't know all the science, so I can't explain all the science. What I know is that the neurons in your brain can be changed, and you can allow them to grow. You can reconnect them. You can literally rewire them. If you have been taught all through your life to behave in a certain way, to think in a certain way, that grief is the thing you're supposed to feel, that guilt is the thing you're supposed to feel. We've talked about this many times. The guilt that is drilled into our head as children from good-meaning adults, but drilled into our head, we still hold that within us. It's time to rewire that. So what we do is and I'll explain how, and I've got a couple things to share about this. So the way that our little neurons are connected right now that leads us to think in a certain way, we are just going to change it. We're going to shift it, and it's not going to be like a yanking it apart and rewiring, but we are going to allow those neurons to grow and reset and change and shift and spread and grow new ones and grow longer ones and shift the way that we think. And then we're going to keep that in place. We're going to actually rewire our brain through these practices. Okay, before I get into the steps of that, I'm going to check my comments. It was your horse. Oh, yes, it was. You tried. You did it 2 mornings, Shari. So I'm going to guess that you were talking about journaling, which is 2 mornings is better than 0 mornings. And it's something that you can start making a habit of. 1 morning, decided you needed coffee. More of a routine than any other reason. I got that too. Keep on keeping on. Thank you. Me, I just cry when I think of him. Otherwise, I go about my business like normal. It's just when I think about him, I feel extremely sad. Maybe I need to put my happy pill I'm not sure what that, I'm not 100% sure what happy pill message is. I don't know. Dog poop is way warmer than cat poop. You guys, that's funny. Yes, right. And there seems to be a whole lot more of it. Anyhow, all right. So what I want to talk about is that you can rewire your brain. I'm going to give you a couple of steps, and then there's something else I want to share with you, because this is not new science. This is not new science. It's not new age. It has been around. I'm going to show an example. When I taught a college course, I taught several college courses, but the one that I was specifically taught was about change. And when I think about the model that we used for change in organizations, it's almost the same as what this is going to be. So neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability to literally, physically rewire your brain. So just like when you go to the gym, if you were to go to the gym and start working out, you are literally rebuilding your muscles. That the exercise of lifting weights, so I'm not talking about cardio, I'm talking about weightlifting. The exercise of lifting weights breaks down the muscle, and then the muscle repairs itself in a way that is better and more improved. And that is, in a nutshell, without also going into physiology, that is how our muscles become stronger. And again, there's no age limit here, even if it's for your physical body. You are capable of more than you have been told your entire life. You are capable of more. But that's the way that our muscles work. So our muscles work, we break them down, we rest, and in that resting period, they build back up better and better, and you keep going. You don't just go to the gym one day and think that you're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You go to the gym multiple days. You keep up a routine. You change up your routine. You continue things on a regular basis, and you begin to see results. The problem is that many people stop before they begin to see their results. They go to the gym for a week and go, okay, I see nothing. So why am I bothering? Because it takes some time to build up to the place where you can see the results and feel the results. There is a saying, and I think it was the saying came from Stephen Covey, and he had one of those, boy, it was back in my business days, the 7 habits of some kind of people. What was that book, guys? The 7 habits of, I don't remember, but it was, I know it's Stephen Covey, and he proposed that it took 21 days to break a habit. So if you had a bad habit, yes, of highly effective people. Thank you. Now the whole title's gone out of my mind, but look up Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There you go. And he proposed that it took 21 days to break a habit. So if there was something that you wanted to get out of the habit of doing, like overeating or drinking or smoking or anything, it doesn't matter what it is, it would take 21 days, 21 consistent days in order for you to break that habit. But it could be done. 21 days is nothing. 21 days, 3 weeks, that's nothing. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. 21, I think it can be done quicker, but we're going to stick with the 21 days here. So the saying was 21 days to break a habit. I'm going to change that a little bit and say 21 days to make a habit, make a new habit. So instead of thinking about breaking the habit of grief, I am going to have you think about it as making a new habit of relief and peace. We don't even have to go for the joy and the happy just yet. That can be like just like going to the gym. You can work on the feeling joy again and the bliss and the happiness. Where if we're not there yet, that's fine. So focus on just the relief, that feeling of relief, that just for a moment, like when you have a body ache of some kind, and all of a sudden you realize that the body ache is gone. You're like, oh, I just realized I'm feeling this wonderful relief. That's what I want you to feel. So 21 days to make, build, create a new habit. And there's a couple steps to it. So the first step is, and you don't have to do all, I just think that these are the 6 steps. I included them in the newsletter. And if anybody's not subscribed to the newsletter, it's not like a newsletter. I send out once a week a reminder about this live stream video. And I also send out a little, I just put together some information about the topic that we're going to be covering that night. And a lot of times, most times, it's inspired by the animals. This time it happened to be inspired just by the fact that I was packing up some books and there was the 7 habits. Anyhow, the first thing that you're going to do is acknowledge the habit. Just acknowledge it. Becoming aware. We spend our days so out of awareness. I think conscious awareness may be one of the biggest secrets to everything. We go about our day on autopilot. We have a default setting. And that's what we stick with, our default setting. We get up and the alarm goes off. We get up in the morning. We get out of bed. We brush our teeth. We have our coffee. We make the breakfast. We take care of the kids. We take care of the dogs. We answer the emails. We look at our phone. We've got this whole thing. We get in the car. We commute to work. We work. We're stressed. We're and commute alone, right? And then we come back home. We have dinner. We might watch a little television. We might watch the news, which I personally don't watch much TV, and definitely I don't watch any news anymore. I just don't need it. I don't need somebody telling me what I'm supposed to be worried about. I digress. So we go about this default mode. Then we go to sleep, and we go to sleep rehashing all the stuff that went on during the day. So we don't get a good night's sleep. Our circadian rhythms are just a mess, also a topic for another day. But we wake up, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then come Friday, we go out on Friday night and make sure that we grab like a beer or 2 or 10 to wash away the memory of the stress of the week. And then Saturday, we might have some things that we do around the house. By Sunday night, we're already planning for what the week ahead is going to be. So you can even hear the stress in my voice talking about that. I want us to break that. I want us to shift that entirely. The first thing is to acknowledge that there's a habit. Acknowledge that you have that you've embraced the grief like a warm blanket of poop. Just acknowledge. You state it out loud. You state it out loud. You become aware of it, consciously aware. Instead of being on default, be consciously aware. You know how hard it is? It's incredibly hard. I think to myself on a pretty regular basis, today I am going to see just how often I can be aware, consciously aware of what I'm doing, where I'm at, how I feel, and notice it. Just take notice of it. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. The next thing I do catch myself, oh, okay, I just realized that I've spent the past 2 hours on autopilot and I have no idea. So I bring myself back to center. Step 1, aware of what the habit is. If you'd like to write it down, it's fine. Just acknowledge it. You acknowledge the habit. Number 2, this has been an overused thing, but it's not overused. It can't be used enough. And that is gratitude. Gratitude. If you cannot find a space of love in your heart, if you cannot find a space of peace and relief, gratitude is the ticket. I wonder if I have that book anywhere handy. If anybody wants to learn how to actually use gratitude in your life, read a book called The Gratitude Jar. The Gratitude Jar. I can't remember the author. It's a small book. It's a super easy read, super short, but read The Gratitude Jar. And you'll have a much deeper sense and appreciation. Maybe even appreciation is a better word than gratitude. What did you appreciate about your animal companion? What do you have to be grateful for? There's something, even if it's a memory, there's something that you're grateful for. And the way that we use gratitude is a redirect. So when our mind, so the two G's are really helpful to remember. When our mind wants to go to grief, instead flip it on its head and go to gratitude. All right. So I'm standing at the fence. I'm going to use that example. Standing at the fence, feeling really deeply for missing my horses, for missing all of my animal companions. I'm really feeling that depth of sorrow. I'm just going to be grateful. I am going to stand here and I am going to breathe in the scent of manure. I'm going to breathe in the scent of hay. I am going to be so grateful for the breeze on my face, for the sun on my neck. That's all it has to be. It does not have to be complicated. You don't have to find gratitude. It can be anything that helps you shift and redirect your mind. So it's like redirecting a small child who needs to be redirected. That's what you're doing with your brain. So gratitude is the way to redirect. And I'll go back over these steps, so don't worry, guys. And maybe I'll put them in a little post too for those of you who don't get the email. The third one, another one that is in the spiritual world, a word that some people have begun to roll their eyes at, and it's visualize. I get it. Please don't tell me to visualize anymore. I don't want to visualize. Well, maybe there's a better word for it. I'm not 100% sure. But what I want you to do is imagine. Maybe that's a better word. Imagine. Imagine what relief feels like. Even if you can't feel it at that moment, imagine what it would be like. What would it be like to wake up in the morning and just not have that blanket of sadness? What would that feel like? So I think imagination is a better word. And imagination is an incredible tool that is underutilized. Underutilized. Imagination is your God-given gift. Imagination is a tool that we were born with and that has also been squashed as we grew older by well-meaning adults as we were children. And we may have done that ourselves as our own children grew. I think of the times when I've said the words, just your imagination. No such thing. There's no such thing as just your imagination. Maybe that's the topic for next week, how to use our imagination to its fullest ability. So that would be the next step. What does it feel like? Just think about what it feels like. Imagine what it would feel like to be happy again. Fourth step is another word that people have begun to roll their eyes at, but there's a reason for it. Ready? Affirmations. Please don't tell me to say affirmations anymore. I am wealthy. I am healthy. All my affirmations. Money flows to me in marvelous ways. I am a magnet for love. My true love awaits me. Whatever those affirmations are. But guess what? We can use them to rewire our brain. So I wonder if we can come up with a better word than affirmations, especially if somebody says positive affirmations. I begin to internally roll my eyes when I hear these words. So maybe come up with a better word. But here's what I would do. It's like a little trick. It's also a redirect. You can say to yourself, you're not going to say something you don't believe. If you say something you don't believe, it's not going to make any sense. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Like, how about just for today, I'm going to heal a little bit. Just for today, I'm going to feel a little bit better. Just for today, I'm going to find something that makes me happy. I don't care if it's a bar of chocolate or a cup of coffee. I'm going to find something today that makes me happy. That little butterfly out there, a little dragonfly. I am going to find something today that makes me happy. That's an affirmation. And you don't have to go paste them all over your house on little Post-its. You don't have to write them again and again and again in your book. You just find something that you can hang on to. Find some little saying that you can hang on to that does help you feel a little bit better. Just for today, I'll feel a little bit better. Or just for today, I'm going to choose relief. Just for today, I'm going to choose not to cry. Just for today, I am going to choose calm. Any of those things. I love the just for today. That's a Reiki thing. The Reiki precepts or the Reiki principles always begin with just for today. We don't judge ourselves for what happened yesterday. We cannot predict what is going to happen tomorrow. So we focus just on right now. And so for now, I choose relief. So that's what affirmations are. Maybe I'll go back through these with different words. The fifth one is the M word, meditation. Meditation and mindfulness in the whole spiritual community. That's all we talk about. Visualizing, positive affirmations, meditation, mindfulness. But there's a reason. There's a reason we talk about it, and it's because the stuff works. It works. And meditation is also a disruptor, a pattern interrupt. It's a disruptor. If you're mindful, when you find yourself caught in a cycle of grief, you name it, you make yourself aware of it, and you can say to yourself, okay, I am going to sit quietly and I am going to ask whatever your higher power may be, whatever you believe in, whatever that higher power is, I am going to ask God just to intervene for me right here. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to quietly focus on my breath, and I am going to trust that there is a power greater than me who is able to help me through this. I don't need to know all the answers. I don't need to know how. I just trust that there's some other power greater than me who can help me through this. And those are some of the things that for mindfulness and meditation, or you can actually do a meditation. You can sit down, put on your headphones, listen to some soothing music, listen to the solfeggio frequencies, listen to whatever, or listen to a guided meditation if you choose. But that also helps to quiet your brain. And we're going to tie all these together in just a minute. And step number 6 is create new rituals. So what is it that would be something new that would also trigger your brain to start behaving in a different way? If wearing the, do I have my necklace here? I think I might have put it away. My little necklace that has Winston's remains in it, or Winston's Paul, or Lucy's. I have the Rainbow Bridge poem for Lucy and for Jack. If looking at those brings me to tears, if thinking of a memory of them brings me to tears, do something different. Create the new memory journal. Go outside and take a walk. Do something different. Every time you feel the need, that you're feeling this pull of the sadness and the grief, you want to do something that is going to redirect your brain. That's how you do it. Just like I'm going to use the bodybuilding thing again. If you were to do nothing but sit on your couch and eat bonbons or Cheetos or whatever it might be, if you were just to do that all day long, your body would decay, right? You would just become, what do you call that when you're atrophy? Your muscles would atrophy because you're not doing anything. But when you take one step, just get up. You take the step and your body goes, oh, we're doing something. And then you decide that you're going to take it a step further, and you're going to decide today you're going to stretch, and tomorrow you're going to take a walk, and maybe the next day you'll actually run. I recommend skipping. I think skipping is awesome. Why did we ever stop skipping? Skipping is so cool. Do something brand new that you wouldn't even dream of doing. And that's what's going to start to rewire your brain. And then you're going to start to see a change, as you would in a physical body. If you were a couch potato and you decided that you wanted to run a 5K, you're going to be able to do it if you do little things, baby steps, one at a time. Then I'm going to give you step 7 in just a minute. There's a 7th magical step. Here's the whole goal of all of these steps. I'm going to go back through them again and tell you how they all relate. Acknowledge the habit, redirect with gratitude, imagine what it feels like, have an affirmation that shifts the way that you're thinking, and practice something of mindfulness, and then create a new ritual. If you do them in that order, great. Go ahead. If you're a person who likes linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I get it. These are the 6 things I'm going to do. That would be awesome. But you don't have to do all 6 of them. Your brain will respond quicker than a muscle. Your brain is going to respond fast once you tell it. Once you tell your brain that you control the thinking, not the other way around, Your thinking does not control you. You control your thinking. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. You can think and grow happy. You can think and get happy. And it's because you begin to take control of your thoughts, become aware, acknowledge it, and then pick something. Pick just one. I am going to imagine what it feels like today, or I am going to step outside and say to myself, just for today, I am going to choose relief just for today. And if 10 minutes from now you find yourself crying, it's okay. It's okay. But you're going to consistently do something every single day. And that rewires your brain. Neuroplasticity is like going to the gym for your brain. You are doing something consciously, and you're gonna know, you're gonna realize, okay, I just realized that for the past 2 days I have been spiraling down and I have not done anything. Oh, it's okay, because your brain will remember when you start to tell it what to do, and you're going to find it easier and easier and easier to do all of these steps. I love the new ritual one. Do something different, like find a way to skip. When was the last time you played? When was the last time you did hopscotch? When was the last time you jumped rope? Even something like that. What does that have to do with healing after the loss of an animal companion? Absolutely nothing, except that it disrupts the pattern of your brain. It disrupts your brain. Do something fun. Go out and do something fun and disrupt the stuff. Like that's what a habit is. It's just a pattern of thought and a pattern of behavior, and you're shifting that, and you're choosing to consciously shift it. And once you start practicing controlling your thoughts, there is no going back. Now, I will get to step 7 in just a second. When I was in corporate, I taught business classes. I do still teach an occasional business class, but from a whole different perspective. We taught a change management class, and in the change management class, the guy's name was Lewin. Was the I don't know, the business guru who said that this is what you do if you really want anybody in your life to change. You recognize what the change is. You recognize what needs to be changed. See if this doesn't sound familiar, and then that change has been like embedded in the organization, in the company that you're working for. That's the way we've always done it. Okay, recognize what it is, the way that you've always done it. Unfreeze it. Give everybody permission to stop doing it. That's what you're giving yourself permission to stop grieving. You are giving yourself permission to stop grieving. And we'll talk about guilt over that at another time. And then you do something that helps to change. You do anything that helps to implement the new process, the new procedure, whatever it is. I'm talking about the organization now. You do whatever it takes to start doing something new. You start to create a new habit, and then you refreeze it. You glue it back into place by saying, I am not going to accept anything different. I am not going to accept anything less than happiness and wholeness and peace and joy in my life. And that's what I choose from this moment forward. So it's the same thing. We taught it in business to recognize, unfreeze, change, refreeze. So go check it out. Lewin, Lewin. He's the guy who proposed that. So what is the 7th thing that you can do? The 7th habit that you can do. You don't have to do anything. I kind of already mentioned it. There is something greater than you that is able to help you shift. Whether you reach out to your animal companion in prayer, whether you reach out to your higher power in prayer, the divine, God, Allah, Buddha, Spirit, Krishna, whatever you call that higher power, there is something beyond us on this physical planet that has the ability to intervene on our behalf. And we don't have to know how. All we have to do is ask. All we have to do is ask. That's it. It's that simple. You recognize that there's something that you want to change. You've made yourself aware of it. You've decided to shift your pattern of thought. You do a pattern interrupt. Even if I dare you guys, go outside and skip tomorrow, or walk backwards, right? Walk down the sidewalk backwards for a block. Do something that interrupts, and then ask that your higher power intervenes. And that process, your brain will already begin to shift. And the more you do it, and you don't even like going to the gym, they say you have to have a day of workout, then a day of rest, then a day of workout, then a day of rest. Arm day, this day of rest. Leg day, this day of rest. You can do this all day long. You can do it day after day after day. And 21 days from now, watch how things have shifted because you have taken the steps to shift your brain and to shift your thinking patterns. All right, I'm gonna look at comments now. That was a lot of talking from me. I usually jump in and look at the comments, but I had to get that all out. So let's see what we've got. Gratitude Jar. That's the one. The Gratitude Jar by Josie Robinson. That is the book. If there is no, oh my gosh, you guys have to read that book. You absolutely have to read that book. Read it with tissues. And like when I read it, that's how quick of a read it was. I read it on a flight. I read it while I was flying from one place to another on an airplane. Of course, I was flying in an airplane. I was flapping my wings. Gratitude Jar. Amazing book. Okay, so somehow I'm getting this error message about the chat not working, but is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. I thought that I saw like a delay, in like, just some kind of delay, but regardless. Meditation is hard when you have ADHD, 100%. That's why I say that meditation can be anything. When meditation can be challenging, and I think I don't know all about ADHD, but from my understanding, there's too much stimulus, right? There's too much input, too much stimulus. You can't concentrate, you can't focus. It's hard to, and so that's where you find the thing that does get you in your zone. I will use my niece as an example. My niece is on the autism spectrum, and it's very challenging especially if there's all kinds of sensory input. If there's all kinds of sensory input, she just wants to shut down. But she has found this beautiful artistic expression, and all she needs to do is then go to that art, and she's able to block out all that. And that art, coloring can be a form of meditation. If there's anything at all that you can find that soothes you, that's what you go for. It does not have to be putting on the headphones and listening to music. It can be anything. Meditation can take many, many forms. Okay. Hi, Judy. Sometimes I yell at God. Oh, believe me, I have yelled at God. I have cussed. Okay. I have cussed at God and gone, what the actual, because, and I don't feel badly about that. I say it because I think this is maybe a little bit different topic too, but I believe that we are not just meant to pray in the fashion of begging. I believe that we are extensions of that higher power, and what we can, and what with the feedback that we are giving to the higher power says, all right, I don't get it. Whatever we're supposed to go through here, it's not making any sense. It is not working. I don't get it. Show me how I can change. And then you ask for the inspired action to take those steps. But yes, I have also yelled at God. I've yelled at God. I've yelled at deceased relatives. I have to express myself every once in a while. Living in the moment. Ask Gary every night to wrap his paws around your heart. That's a beautiful, yes. Oh, what a beautiful pattern interrupt. When you're feeling that, right? Ask for the warm breath. Ask for, as you're falling asleep, just for them to hold your heart in their little paws. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. I love that. Do you use white sage, and can you suggest where I purchase it? So I use all kinds of things, and you can purchase it generally at your local crystal shops, metaphysical bookstores. Almost all towns have at least one. And I don't know where you're located, but I'm sure I could help you find one. But you can also purchase the stuff online. You can go, there's many places to purchase online. I'm trying to think of a place now that I know that sells it online other than Amazon. Yeah, you can look it up. You'll be able to look it up and look up metaphysical or crystal shops in your area, and crystal shops in particular. If there's like a crystal place that sells the beautiful crystals, you should be able to find sage there as well. And I'll tell you why we use that, guys. That's a question there. Do I use white sage? And you can use this as a pattern interrupt also. I prefer something called Palo Santo, and Palo Santo is it's a piece of wood. It's beautiful. I don't have any right here. I'd light it for you. That has a really beautiful scent, and sage has a beautiful scent too. The spiritual world, the psychic spirituality world, the metaphysical world would tell you that by burning something like that, it can be white sage. There's also something called, I don't know the politically correct name for it. I only know the indigenous, like the local name for it here. They call it Indian tobacco. It's a brown plant. It's absolutely beautiful. And you can, when it dries in the fall, you can break it off and burn it just like sage. I don't know the actual name of the plant, and I know that that's not the correct way to refer to it. But yes, all of those things, it's meant, when you think of Native American ceremonies where there's a smoke, a scent, and you're cleansing yourself with that. You can cleanse an area with it. You can cleanse a room with it. But here's how you would use it in a practical way. You would use it. In fact, you can do it, just light a match and it will do the same thing. It is a pattern interrupt. You will smell that. You'll smell the sulfur burn. The Palo Santo has such a beautiful, I can't even describe the clean, woody, earthy scent of it. And that alone will interrupt the patterns of your brain. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get your brain out of its own habits. You're trying to really interrupt the way that it's familiar. It's just a familiar feeling, and you want to get away from the familiar. You want to go out and skip. Delaware. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys chat amongst yourselves. Okay, but yeah, so going back, I think that with that last comment was about having your heart held in their paws. I can't wait to go to sleep tonight. When I go to sleep tonight, I can't wait to ask my beautiful Jack. Jack has been on my mind all day long. My daughter, we were showing pictures of, my granddaughter loves dogs. Go figure. She loves dogs. Must be genetic. She's only one, but she loves to see pictures of dogs. So my daughter was bringing up pictures on her phone, and up popped a little picture of my beautiful Jack when he was a puppy. Oh my gosh, I barely remembered how small he was. He was a yellow lab, and how tiny he was, more of a white lab than a yellow lab, how tiny he was and how cute and adorable. And his ears were bigger than his body. And it just brought back such really fond memories. So tonight, I can't wait to ask Jack to hold my little heart in his paws as I fall asleep. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that, guys. Okay, so that is the process. You can go ahead, and I put it into 6 little steps, 7 steps if you're going to trust in a higher power. And if you don't believe in a higher power, that's okay. There's no judgment there either. If you don't believe in a higher power or some form of intelligence, I personally can't explain the universe without some type of creator to it. But that, I mean, I'm not, if you believe the end is the end and we just happen to ecologically, or what's the word, evolve, can't think of the name of the book, Evolution, but if we just happen to evolve to who we are, and when we're done, that's okay. But then you're probably not watching me, and you're probably not watching this video. So that's the only thing I added that I don't know that the other teachers will add. But if you were to look up Dr. Bruce Lipton, he is the proponent of neuroplasticity, and that old dogs can learn new tricks, and you can retrain your brain, and there are ways to do it. I explained just a couple of them, but there are other ways that you might want to retrain your brain. You're just going to go do something different that interrupts the pattern, and it helps you like drop that blanket of dog poop. All right, I want to share with you, because part of this goes into now the reading for Kitty Boy. Kitty Boy is a cat, and I think that some of us have all been through this. Ocean Lee, for one. I know that a couple of us have been through the loss of more than one animal companion within a very short period of time. My Lucy, Jack, and Winston all crossed within 18 months of each other, but Lucy and Winston crossed within 5 days of each other. I thought it was 10. I would question myself. I thought it was 10 days. I thought it was 7 days. But then I did go back and look at their dates on their memorials, and they crossed within 5 days of each other. And it was traumatic. I knew and understood, because I'd seen your dogs, and from this point forward, I will either always, it's my choice. I just choose to have seniors. I want to be able to help senior dogs who have lost their home for whatever reason. I want to be able to help seniors and or special needs dogs like my Gypsy. And anyway, when you have senior dogs in your home or senior cats or senior anything, logic brain knows that they're going to pass, but then when they're together closely, but then when it happens, it totally throws you for a loop. So this is what happened with Kitty Boy. Kitty Boy crossed with his two other brothers, Buddy and Benny. And I think I did a reading for Benny ages ago, ages. One of the very first times that I ever thought I would do a reading, I think it was Benny. And it's not the same Benny as Sharon's Benny. It's a different Benny. Benny and Buddy and Kitty Boy, and then there's one more kitty cat left, and I don't remember the kitty cat's name. There's one more kitty cat still in the physical, but there's some stuff that came through from Kitty Boy. So as you know, I always ask for evidence. I try to get one piece of evidence that shows it truly is Kitty Boy, and then I share whatever messages come through from the animal that I'm connecting with. Well, I was outside today, and this is what I wish I'd taken a picture of. I didn't have my cell phone with me. I was just walking the dog. There is a car parked outside, and it has a license plate that says Kissy Boy, Kissy Boy. I looked at it and right away knew that it was Kitty Boy. So I'm really curious. I do not see Kitty Boy's human on this evening. Cheryl, my two were 10 days apart. Yep, I get it. Totally get it. Well, these three, Kitty Boy, Benny, and Buddy, all died within 18 months. So there was a period of time. I don't think any two of them died as close together as some of our animal companions have, but within that window of time, 3 of 4 cats who were sharing the house crossed to the other side. And it's almost like a body blow, right? Like you're just you're smacked down and you're just starting to recover. You're just starting to recover and you get pushed back again, and you're just starting to pull yourself out of that hole and you get slammed again with a body slam. That's exactly what it's like. And so then you don't even want to come back, right? Like, okay, I'm just not getting up again. I'm just going to stay down. But they want us to get back up. They want us to get back up. And Kissy Boy, it's so funny that I just want to keep calling him Kissy Boy. Kissy Boy has lots to share. So Kitty Boy says, yes, he is with his 2 brothers, and there's also another small kitten. I don't know too much else. Hang on, I got to take a quick drink. I don't know too much else about the background of Kitty Boy, but yes, they're all together. Kitty, and they're not physical brothers. They were just housemates. They shared the same house together, but in that sense became brothers. Like Jack and Lucy were not related, but I call them brother and sister. Yes, they are all together. So Benny, Buddy, and Kitty Boy are all together on the other side. They are always together. And they are the 3 Musketeers. They are always mischievous. That's the word I want to go with. They are always looking for mischief. Some other things that he shared with me: hot feet, uncomfortably hot feet, like as in a fever. And I don't know the physiology for cats. I don't know. Somebody else can jump in. I don't know if cats, if when they get a fever, their paws get hot. I really don't know that. But an uncomfortable sense of hot feet and something metabolic going on. There was something with the heart, metabolic. That's the word I wrote. Something fast, like a fast heartbeat going on, and thirst. But then there was this irritable sensation. Irritable. Most animal companions, almost all animal companions, will not share with me the way that they crossed. It's like a blank slate. When they leave their physical body, there's no separation. They were in the physical body, then they're not, and they were in pain, or they were having something going on, or they were aging, or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're not, and they choose not to dwell on the way that they crossed. So I don't often get that, but I did get this physical sensation. And it's interesting that cats are the ones that give me the most physical sensations. Very irritable, like Kitty Boy towards the end was just irritable, was just bitchy. And it was all because of something super uncomfortable in the tummy. Like I got a sense of I didn't get a sense of diarrhea, but like, you know how you get that feeling in your tummy when all of a sudden you go, uh-oh. That's the feeling I had. It was super uncomfortable, rumbly tummy, and smelly gas. Sorry, I don't know how else to say it, but I definitely had a sense of smelly gas. So that's That's the physical sensations that Kitty Boy came through. Then he goes back to him and the two brothers and this other little kitten who I do not know who it is. It's just an orange tabby, a kitten, like this little tiny orange tabby kitten, is what came through to me. And you can hear them all the time. They meow and they purr together all the time. If you will sit quietly and listen, you'll hear them at least purring. They're meowing and purring all the time in unison. They walk together as one kitty. I'm not quite sure what that meant, but that was the feeling I got, that they walk together as one kitty. So do they? There's no rules on the other side, by the way. There's no rules for people or for animals. So do they come together to get your attention? They want to be heard, so the three of them try to combine themselves so that they are more powerful and can get through to you quicker. But I got the sense that they were there as one cat. And kisses, kisses, kisses. So the whole kissy boy thing. Most cats that I'm aware of don't generally kiss like dogs. Dogs are soothed. If you're not aware of that, when a dog licks, it's usually a form of meditation for them. When a dog is licking, it's a calming thing. It releases a hormone in their body that allows them to be calm, much like purring does for a cat. Purring releases a hormone that helps a cat feel calm, as licking does for a dog. So kisses, kisses, kisses. Most cats, no kisses, but you enjoyed his scratchy tongue, so he was happy to kiss. That's what came through about that. And by the way, you tasted good. And then I had a strong sense of seafood, like a seafoody smell, like it was a crab boil, or you walked into a house where everybody's been cooking seafood and garlic and shrimp or something. I don't know, but there was a strong sense of seafood. I got the sense also that Kissy Boy was very spoiled. And as for the kitty cat left behind, they tease him. They tease him. If you've ever caught the kitty cat who's been left behind, and I use the word left behind, it's not really left behind, like none of us are left behind. But those of us still in our physical bodies, as opposed to those of us who are now in the non-physical, Kitty Boy says that they make him hiss at nothing. So if you've ever caught him hissing with no particular reason to hiss, it's because his brothers are tormenting him. They're teasing him, and they can see, cats, by the way, dogs can as well. They can sense and see more than we humans can. So they like to torment him. All right, that's what I had today, guys. Let me see if there's any other comments. Keep seeing 111 and 1111. Oh yeah, absolutely. Those angel numbers are another form of easily manipulated energy. It's easy. And then we have the thing called the reticular activating system. I don't know if I've talked about that here or not. Once you start telling yourself, I want to see 111. I want to see 222. I want to see 333. Your brain, because it is plastic, it can be remolded. You can tell it what you want it to focus on. You'll keep seeing those numbers. And I'll continue to explain all this stuff. The more I can explain to you how it works, you have this thing called the reticular activating system in the back of your mind. Otherwise, we would all have ADHD. It helps us manage the information. We have, I don't know what the number is, like 60,000 bits of information a minute we receive. And how does our brain make sense of all that? It has to be able to organize it in a certain way. Anywho, that's why we keep seeing the numbers 111 and 1111. Angel numbers are easily sent to us by our animal companions. Potato is slowly fading, but still holding on. Okay, that will likely put Gary and Tato crossing within 6 months. Okay, I got it. And I understand that too. And even with Jack and Lucy were so bonded that when Lucy crossed, Jack went through a depression, and Jack was in grief. And there, I use Reiki for animals. I use animal Reiki as a way of helping to manage grief for animals too. And we would do sessions to help him relax, to help him know that he was not left by himself, and we never left him alone. My husband and I took great care to make sure that he was always accompanied. And then Gypsy came into the house right before Jack passed. But I got the sense that he wanted to be with Lucy. They were together since they were puppies. They were bonded, and she was actually a year older than him when we brought him home, and she mothered him, and he just adored her. So I get it when it seems like and you can tell when I just knew, I felt like Jack was like, I'm ready. I don't know when my time is, but I'm ready to go be with Lucy. Yeah, right. And at the end, and that's part of also becoming a better pet parent and then I'll wrap this up. Becoming a better pet parent after our animal companions crossed. I did the same thing for all three of them. Well, Winston, who I did not know was going to cross, he crossed on his own, but still he was spoiled. He was spoiled rotten anyway. That towards the end, they could live their happiest life. They got the food that they wanted. They didn't have to do anything they didn't choose to do. I wanted them to have fun. I wanted them to just love life and give them the best possible life I could. And now that is my goal for my animal companions all along. Give them the best possible life they can have. Do the best for them all the time, as much as I can, to the greatest extent that I can. Give them the best life possible. Okay, my friends, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting each other. Thank you for being part of this community. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and please share it out to anybody that you think might benefit. I truly appreciate you, and until next week, may animals light your way. Bye, everybody. You're welcome.